So a lot of the work that I completed this week was just getting the front end to interact with the back end. Originally I was having issues with cores. Um, it just kept throwing an error, didn't want to work. So after a lot of trial and error, I was able to fix it here. When I was looking through the back end, I noticed he was not using any sort of cores, so I just had to require cores and do it in the app.use and use origin method and allowed headers. And this was actually, it says everything I saw online said it was optional, but it wasn't working unless I did this, which I also did in index.js. So this is one of the main issues that I had this week, but I was able to get it fixed, and the backend is now communicating with the front end. So now that the front end is communicating with the back end, I was able to make the call, the API call, and get all of the data from MongoDB, and I display it here in sets of 15 with a pagination to only display 15 at a time. There's a search function, so you can search for, it's based off of product name, UPC, and category. And the filter function actually works as well with the search function. And then this right here is going to be used for adding and removing items. Currently it does not work because the backend endpoint is not set up yet, but eventually it will just be used as a UPC, and the user will just put the UPC in and either add or remove items. I was also able to do that with reports. Reports is also shown here based off of the API endpoint. And then while I was waiting on the endpoint to be completed, I was able to get a color library that allowed me to allow the users to customize which colors they wanted on their dashboard. And this actually took a lot more work than I expected because I had to change all the different variables for the colors once this was updated, but I think it's pretty cool and it sets the product apart from other inventory management systems. And I feel it could possibly allow users to work more productively. I know me personally, when I work with an IDE, I really like being able to customize the colors, change the dark mode and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what I was able to do on the front end. While I was connecting the front end and the back end, I had to do a lot of testing. We found a lot of bugs along the way, and just communicating with Matthew to get certain things set up the way that they should be. So I had to use Postman to do a lot of this, and I also used Postman to add all of the documents to the collections so that they could be displayed. So this was pretty much how I was able to test the API. I've got a lot of different requests here that I used. Here's how the MongoDB looks currently. We've got 4 collections, and I was working with getting these collections set up with Matthew to make sure I had all of the correct items, their correct attributes that they should have. And then I added these 20 different ones and 4 orders for testing. This is currently how my code looks for the front end. I had to use Axis to make the API call. And then I use queries and filters for searching. And then this is how I did the filter. So just a switch case. Based off a switch case, I used a local compare and a sort function to complete the filters. But yeah, that's pretty much everything for this week. Other than that, me and Matthew worked to delegate different tasks to different individuals and make sure everyone had something to do and was productive.